Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to LaserBeam Live, episode number 27. We made it past a year. We made it to 1 year. Now we are officially past 1 year. We're into year 2. And thank you for joining me. You know the deal. My name is Ikenna for CNC Labs. And whether it's morning, afternoon, evening, or night, I appreciate you spending a little bit of time with me. What's up to the chat? We got Kenny, we got Dana from Bucky's Customs, Laser Demon, Jack in the Shop, Bill, Kenny. I see you guys having a discussion about cool 6-axis lasers, the super longboard. Nicholas, I see you. Bart, I see you. Dana and Bart were super early. Jack was super early. Hey, I appreciate all of you for joining me live. What are we doing today? First of all, how are you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing good. Hopefully you guys are making cool stuff, breaking things, but making things better because of it. And today, I feel like our first year, we kept things a little bit basic. Okay, of course we did some like cool product development and stuff. We did that live. And of course we did some stuff with the Vortex, which is a little bit more intermediate. But I think overall, we kept things pretty basic in terms of software, LightBurn and G-Sender. And I think the most complex thing that we did was actually setting up our webcam. And this year, I want to do more of those complex kind of optimizations when it comes to doing a laser job when you're either doing with LightBurn or you're doing LightBurn to G-Sender. I want to get into the nitty gritty. If you're new and you're new to lasering, you're new to CNCing, you're new to the long mill, we have about 26 videos for you. Just go into our YouTube channel, hit the live button, and you will see cataloged our entire LaserBeam live series that you can watch whenever you want. You don't have to be here live, but I do appreciate you coming in live. Dana, how you doing? Kenny, how you doing? Nicholas, you guys are the best. Justin, thank you for joining. Guys, first, let's take care of last stream business. You guys never got to see the completed plaque. So if you joined us for a 1-year anniversary stream, that was 2 weeks ago, Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, your username was added to this beautiful plaque. All right, and this is gonna be going up in my new apartment when I move in. It's gonna be, I'm gonna clean it up, I'm gonna do a little sanding, do a little Danish oil. That's my favorite finisher for wood. I don't know why, I just like the smell. I like how quickly it dries, and I like the finish. So this is definitely going up on my wall. Hopefully we get to year 2, year 3, year 4. Yeah, Kenny, you made it. Your name is on there. I think Jim was the last person to join right before I started the project. I went back into LightBurn and I added his name. So if you didn't make it, this should incentivize you to join us. Join us every 2 weeks, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for LaserBeam Live, and maybe next year you'll be added to the next plaque. All right, that was last stream. Let's get into this stream. What features are we talking about? Because I'm a pretty basic guy. I like the simplicity of the laser and the long mill and the software to get it done, okay? But, Dieter, how you doing? Well, thank you for joining us. But, when my colleagues present a simpler solution to get like a problem that I'm having dealing with the software, then I'm all for trying it. And I know if you guys have that same issue, then I know you guys will be interested to see and to try it out. And you know me, I like to come to these streams live, fresh, green, okay? I did a little bit of reading on these features, but I haven't actually played with them. I haven't ran any projects. So if I fail, I'm going to fail with you guys. That is the vibe of this stream. If I succeed, I'm gonna succeed with you guys. And hopefully we succeed. But these two features, one is Fast Whitespace. So if we look at a project like this, you're not gonna get a lot of white space here because even these lighter parts still have a little bit of color in them, so they're not completely white. But here, all this space between the lettering is white space. Right? All this little space, as the laser's moving along, tracking through, it's all running at a constant speed. So shouts out to Scott, our full-time video creator, content creator for CNC Labs. He's been playing with the laser a lot. So you're gonna be seeing him using the laser, and you're gonna be getting more in-depth tutorials like the style that Scott and our videography team like to do, where you guys get a very detailed aesthetic look on how to get projects done. So he's been playing with the laser, and he found this setting called Fast Whitespace. So what it does is every time your laser is passing through a part of your project that's not actually engraving, but it needs to pass through it in order to get to the place it's engraving, you can set an even higher speed, right? So we set things like this when we want this level of darkness to about 25.4 millimeters per second or 1 inch per second to get this kind of darkness in our project. But we can speed up all the white space using this one setting in LightBurn so that we can actually dial things in, and it'll be a lot faster. So I don't know how much faster. It's going to depend on your project and how much white space there is. LightBurn already does a lot of optimization in terms of tool paths to make sure it's not wasting space, and allows you to optimize again. But this is another level of optimization so that we are just not wasting any of that time. As soon as it finishes engraving a part, it's going to move a lot quicker than it should be with the engraving, right? So max speed of the long mill that you can comfortably run the long mill with a laser or a router is going to be 66 millimeters per second, right? We run our stuff at 25 to get this level of engraving, but we can do 66 millimeters per second on the white space. So let's go through that feature. I'm not going to run a project today. I'm just going to go through the feature with you guys just so you guys can try it out at home. And then I think next stream, I'll actually put it to the test, and I'll take 2 exact projects. I'll run it with fast white speed and without fast white speed. And thank you, Kenny, so much. Don't forget to like the stream. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to share. If you have any friends that are interested in laser engraving or CNCing, definitely appreciate it. Comment. Be active in the chat. I always appreciate it. I don't want to feel like I'm in this shop alone at 8 p.m. No, it's you guys in the chat that make me feel like I'm hanging out, okay? So definitely do that. And thank you for reminding me. I feel like somebody new reminds me every time in the chat, and I appreciate all of you for reminding me. Don't forget to like the video. And Scott is awesome, Kenny. You are right. He has the great energy. He has experience making content, and he loves making projects with the long mill and the laser, and soon the vortex. So that's awesome. Okay, let's get into it. Let's get right into it. We got LightBurn up here. So how do we actually activate the setting? We're going to be going to device settings. So that's the wrench and the screwdriver icon up here. And we're just going to click on that. And then you'll see in other options, you'll see tab pulse width. Don't need that. You're going to see auto home on startup. Well, if you have the induction sensors, then you can enable that. But today, we are enabling Fast Whitespace Scan, okay? And like I said, the long mill can move at a maximum of 66 millimeters per second. So why not just set this at 66 millimeters per second? It's not gonna affect our engraving. It's not gonna affect our cutting. It's not gonna affect anything that we need it to affect. All it's gonna do is hypothetically speed up our job. And again, next live stream, I'll be putting it to the test. We're gonna run an A/B test, one without this setting enabled, one with it, and we're going to see how much time we can actually save on a pretty realistic project, like engraving somebody's logo with some text. You know, an image with a little bit of text, I feel like is a pretty average job for the average LaserBeam or laser engraver user. So that's what we're going to be testing, and then we're going to see how much in terms of percentage that we're going to save on the time, because 66 is almost about like 2.5 times faster than our regular standard engraving speed. So we should be, and of course the whole thing is not white space, so we're not gonna save 2.5 times the speed, but we should be able to eke out maybe 10, 20% faster speeds, and time is money, and also time is precious. We love doing the projects that we do. I know you guys do, I know I love it, but if we can do it faster and get the same result, why not? So that's why we love LightBurn, that's why Scott is the best, and that's why I'm very interested in trying this out. So I just wanted to go over the basics with you guys, just because if you don't want to wait until next week, at least you know how to enable the setting, you know what it does, you know why you would want to enable the setting, and then you can do your own testing. And then we will come back on the next live stream and do some live testing with that, so I can give you guys an actual like reasonable percentage and be like, hey, enabling this setting will quicken up your speeds by a rough amount of 10 to 15%. I would like to give you guys that type of number, but we're gonna do that testing next stream. Okay, we got that out of the way. Company news. Guys, I know you guys are very excited about the super longboard. We did some beta testing today. I know Andy and Chris and some of the team went over to beta testers shop, and we're running a lot of tests. If you want to see those types of updates live, you can just check out our Instagram, CNC Labs. We post stories whenever we're doing that type of stuff, testing and stuff like that, so you can kind of see all that fun stuff. Of course, check out the blog. I know a lot of you guys like the super longboard. It is a very industry-wide kind of interesting product that's going to be released, and hopefully will change a lot of things in the industry. So be patient. Chris is the only one who can give you more detailed updates, so check out the blog. Oh yeah, I can post a picture. I don't mind that at all. I can post a picture somewhere so that you guys can check it out. Maybe I'll post a picture. I actually made it like super short because we essentially 3D printed mock rails using the Prusa. So I think it's about 200 millimeters on all axes. But yeah, we added linear guides, and then we actually made it belt driven just for fun. We had some co-op students, and I wanted to give one of them a chance to kind of do some live engineering and learn kind of how to take something from idea to actually like real life and have something moving. So that was a really cool project that we were playing with. Dope. For this week's contest, the theme is topographical. So show us your topographical projects. The topographical project kind of genre is something that I always love, and I always think it's cool, because let's say you went to a special place with somebody and you want to commemorate that space. You can engrave the topography of that space. I'm very proud of myself for getting that word correct. You can engrave the topography of that space and give it to them, or put it. Maybe you had a special moment at a certain place. Maybe you want to get the town where you're from, the park where you play baseball at. You can get all this data for free. There's tons of simulators online that you can get the data for free, and we'll transmute that into CNCable data. You can even do laser cuts, and you can stack layers. And that's a little bit more complex process, but it is worth it because it's very cool. So if you have done... I feel like that happens at least once a month, okay? And I'm never prepared for it. Every time I come in here, I should turn that off. Bill, if yours is millimeter per minute, then you want to check out the settings here. So sorry, that's the gear icon next to device settings. It's called General LightBurn Settings. And you're going to see that your thing is probably selected for millimeters per minute. You just want to select it for millimeters per second. For our southern neighbors, you want inches per second. You can just select inches per second or inches per minute. You get to select the units. Just know that any information that I'm giving on the live streams are going to be millimeters per second, so you'll have to do the conversion if you want to take those and transfer them. Or if you're going to our resources, that's going to be millimeters per second, so you'll just have to do a little bit of that conversion if you are switching over to inches per second or inches per minute. So just keep that in mind. I know a couple people who have accidentally took my settings and put it into like inches per minute, and it was crazy, or did the reverse and it just wasn't working. The settings were off. So make sure you're doing the conversion if you're going to inches, but if you're just switching over from millimeters per minute, then it's just easy like that. So boom, boom, you're good to go. I like those questions because I know other people probably have those questions and might not put them in the chat. So I appreciate you asking that question, Bill. Yeah. So what is the next setting? So what is the next kind of tool within LightBurn that can make our lives easier when running projects? Yeah, I honestly don't care. Like, it's their recommendations, but I like the keep things standard of millimeters per second. I think you get a little bit more data that way. But if you like millimeters per minute, like our long mill Gerbil settings are in millimeters per minute. So if you want to keep it in line with that, you can always do that as well. You know, I think like the max speed on the long mill Gerbil settings are 4,000 millimeters per minute, and that converts into like 66.7 millimeters per second. So that's kind of the conversion you're dealing with there. Okay, so what is the next little tool that I wanted to talk about today? So this is the tool. It is called Print and Cut. And our CTO, Chris, actually sent this over to me, and I'm glad he did because I didn't know this existed. Kenny asked, what would you think of taking the x-axis of the long mill MK2 and DIY and use that to make two y-axes to essentially make a 48 by 48 and call it the MK3? Yes. So I think we've actually like played with that idea internally, and I'm not sure if there's been any issues with it, but I would say stay tuned, maybe. A very ambiguous answer. But if you wanted to play around, of course you could play around. The rails are strong enough to deal with it, and as long as you don't mind a little bit of experimentation, I'm sure you could get something to work. I think our engineers got curious and might have tried it internally, but I don't know what their results were or if they were having any issues in terms of the 48 by 48. I can't imagine they would because the rigidity of the machine is just so high that adding an extra 18 inches to the y-axis I don't think would cause significant issues. I just don't think we're at a point where we want to make a kit for it or we want to release a kit for it, but that doesn't mean we might not in the future. But if you're a tinkerer, which I assume most of you guys are, then you might even be able to make it work just with the parts that we list on our shop. So Laser 314, calibrating the acceleration to peak the long mill might help as well. Yes, so that's actually something we can do next week where we can match the maximum acceleration of the long mill in our LightBurn settings. So not only are we accelerating faster, but also we'll be moving faster in the white space. That'll be 2 for the price of 1. Thank you, Laser 314. That's something we will actually try with our testing next week, because anything that we can do to kind of jack up, right, because time is the most important thing. And if a project that should be done in 30 minutes with unoptimized settings can be done in 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, even 28 minutes, even those 2 minutes is worth having. So thank you for the suggestion. We will be playing with that on the next live stream. So today I actually do want to try this one out on stream, the print and cut with LightBurn. I think every laser operator has had this issue where you run a project. Let's say you're doing an engraving and then you want to cut it out. It finishes the engraving, but then you move the project and now you have to start all over again because you'll never be able to line it up perfectly. And the line is so thin that it's going to be so problematic to try to line it up perfectly and get the cut in, or to get the engraving to align again, that you kind of have to scrap the part or scrap the supply, the wood, the whatever, the material, and you have to almost start again. This feature that LightBurn created will solve that issue for you. Essentially what it does is it takes 2 markers on opposite ends of your project and allows you to line it up. So let's say you were engraving something and you finished, but it didn't do the cut, but then, let's say your computer shut off or there was a power outage or you knocked the wood over, you will be able to line things up and then let it continue the cut line or the next part of your project or anything like that with this widget tool. This might actually be able to help you for those of you who want to do engraving jobs with the router, and then you want to either do cutting or engraving with the long mill. You'll kind of be able to, I believe, you'll be able to kind of import the same, almost like a 2D file that you use to create your toolpath for the router, and then you'll be able to set those markers up after already routing the job, and then you'll be able to actually engrave and it'll keep things in line. So today, this is what we are here to test. We're gonna be doing a simple cut on a little piece of scrap wood here, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna be engraving the outline, then we're gonna be moving the project, using the tool, and then continuing and seeing if we can get it to line up using the tool, okay? So that is the goal of today. So LightBurn has great videos on this. So
at some
definitely
point,
watch this video if you're ever watching my video. If I stumble during the stream, I'm gonna come back to this video and watch it and get reminder on how to do things correctly. So LightBurn puts out great tutorials, and I'm going to be using that as a resource today. And they also have a write-up. So as you can see, you can either put the markers outside of the project, right? And then you line things up in LightBurn, and then it knows where everything is, and then it's going to do your project. Or you can put the markers inside your project, essentially, which I believe they have an example of right here. So putting the markers on the inside will also let you, right? So let's say you're engraving the inside, the black line, and all of a sudden your project moves when it finishes, but it doesn't finish the cut. You can, or let's say you even cut it, but it didn't cut all the way through, and you had to pick up the piece to check if it cut all the way through, and then you find out that it didn't cut all the way through, you will be able to put your piece back. It doesn't have to be the exact position. Use this tool, and it should line up perfectly. So that is what we are here to test. I'm gonna do a simple cut project. Yeah, LightBurn is absolutely amazing. I'll actually be going to the LightBurn experience, the LightBurn conference that's happening in Peoria, Illinois, in October, end of October. So, you know, if any of you guys are checking out the LightBurn experience, the little conference that they're holding, this is the first year that they're holding it. We've had such great experience with LightBurn. We've had such a great relationship with LightBurn that we figure we might as well, I'm gonna actually take a trip down there for the company and check them out in person, hopefully get to meet some of the software engineers and leaders at the company, and we can kind of talk shop and hopefully meet other creators, other businesses that are in this business that love LightBurn as much as we do. So that'll be a fun time. So if you guys want to check it out or are already going to check it out, definitely hit me up. We can say hi in person. That'll be a great time. So let's check out LightBurn and let's get started. I'm gonna make the cut super simple so that we're not here too long. I think I've learned my lesson over the last two projects that I don't wanna be here too long. So we're gonna do a small rectangle. This is gonna be our cut. This is a 3mm thick piece of wood, so I'm gonna go with about like 4 passes just to be safe. Actually, I'm gonna do 1 pass, and then I'm gonna do 4 passes, something like that, something to the effect of that. We'll just play around with it. This project should be quick enough that if anything happens, we should be able to run it a few times. When can we, Daryl asks, when can we just use LightBurn and not have to create a G code? LightBurn is essentially just a design software. Yeah, LightBurn is just essentially a design software. Like if I just wanted to generate this G code, I would just say save G code and it'd be done based on these settings. So you don't really have to like code or anything. You can essentially use it like a image processing software like Inkscape or Adobe, not Photoshop, but Adobe Illustrator, right? Where you can do projects, you can optimize image, stuff like that. And then you can even save stuff as a, as a DXF, SVG, kind of that kind of stuff. So if you just want to use it as a processor for images and projects like that, you can. But if you're talking about like generating G code, you can just use LightBurn. They have a free trial, so definitely check it out. You can just design, right, just like I'm doing. And then all you have to do is save G code as a .nc and then put it into either run it on LightBurn itself or send it to GSender, like just download the code as a .nc file, open it up in GSender, and you'll be able to run it there just like your regular code, but it's laser code instead of .gc router code. So yeah, it's a very simple software. Check out our old LaserBeam lives if you're talking about laser softwares or laser projects within LightBurn, because we just have tons of tutorials and projects that I've gone through this exact process with. So if you're a little bit confused or you need more of the basics, definitely check out some of the early stuff. We're doing simpler projects and stuff like that. So, okay. So I'm doing a simple little rectangle. Yeah, same. Sometimes like this will be running in LightBurn just because the tool needs to run in LightBurn, but I also do GSender when I can, because it is just a better user interface when it comes to machine interfacing. So I'm just gonna put this rectangle at the bottom here. It's a 6mm by 20mm rectangle. I'm actually gonna make it a little bit bigger. I'm gonna make it I'm gonna make it a 15 millimeter by 20 millimeter rectangle. Okay, so according to the tutorial, hold up, just wanna get rid of the line I made here. Okay, so according to the tutorial, we wanna select a shape. It shouldn't matter what the shape is. We wanna select a non-outputting color. Daryl, definitely check out our older videos because that's the workflow that I use. I use LightBurn into GSender. So definitely check out our old tutorials. And if you can't figure it out through there, just send us in a ticket. If you use the word laser in the ticket, it'll go directly to me and we can set something up and we can figure out your issue. No problem at all. So according to LightBurn, yes, so yeah, if that's what you're talking about, you do have to go to devices and create manually, select Gerbil, select the size, the work area of your machine, and then save that. And then if you want to run things directly through LightBurn, then you'll just connect things here. Like that's what I'm going to be doing. So I'm actually going to close GSender so that I can connect it directly to LightBurn in the console here. And then I select the USB. And now I'm connected in LightBurn, right? So to really like prove this, I'm going to be making a slightly smaller box, and then I'm going to be putting it on the inside, so 0.5 and 0.5, and then the inner box is going to be our engraving, and then the outer box actually we can make it the same size just to prove the point. Yes, if you're trying to connect to LightBurn, you need to close GSender because GSender is going to want to connect to your long mill first. It's whatever software connects to your long mill first. It's going to like stay connected until you disconnect and then connect to the next software. So you don't have to close, but you do have to disconnect the machine. Okay, so I'm going to bring back that box here. And we'll actually make it the same size. And on the same spot, but we're gonna make this one red. Okay, so we have one engraved line and we have one cut line, right? So it should be engraving and then cutting after. Okay, so we got our settings all listed out. So it's going to do an engrave, it's going to try to engrave the box, and then it's going to try to cut the box out. But what we're going to do is we're going to stop the project as soon as it finishes engraving. We're going to move the project, and then we're going to use the print and cut tool. And then we're going to run the project again, and if we have it correctly, it should engrave the box in the exact same location, and it should cut the box in the exact same location. So the first job is going to simulate like you running your job first, but then halfway through it moves, it stops, something happens, you have to pause it and get going, but then when you come back, you can't restart it. It's going to simulate that happening, and then we're going to move it because to simulate, like you'll never be able to get it back in the same position if you moved it or whatever, and then we're going to be using the configurator, the print and cut wizard in order to line things up and then run the project again so that we can actually get the cutout in the exact same spot where the box is engraved, right? So let's say you had an intricate pattern that went to the edges of this box and you wanted to do a cut. You would have to do this exact thing. the LightBurn camera system will work on whatever you're running LightBurn on. So it doesn't actually matter what the machine is. If you set the camera up correctly, like we did in our 2-part video series and the live streams, so you can check that out, YouTube channel, CNC Labs, and then go to the live tab, and then go to the one where we were using the camera wizard. It might have been a 2 or 3-part live stream. It'll work on any size machine. All right, back to the project. So we're gonna be running things in LightBurn. So I'm just going to move up my machine. So I'll show you guys our machine. Sorry, I still have this camera. The other webcam's just not working. Like the other webcam just doesn't want to work. So I'm just gonna move this. I'm gonna move this machine up so I can see it. I have better access to it. Then I'm gonna want to move it down. I'm going to place my material underneath my laser. I'm going to put it centered down so I know I'll have enough space to do the cutting. Okay. I'm going to measure my focus height, G2 focus finder. So we want to raise it up just a little bit. So I'm going to lower the distance to like 1. So I can dial in the height. And that's pretty good. That's between the lower end and the higher end. Gonna want to put on my safety glasses. Oh, and if you don't have this enabled and you're running something in LightBurn, you can enable this in settings and then enable the laser fire button so that you can do test fires just like in G-Sender when you want to get things focused. So, you know, we'll do like 2% fire, which is what we usually do. Got my safety glasses on. Gonna turn on the laser. I don't really care about marking up the material because we're just doing a demo here, so I'm just going to leave things on dip switch 5. I'm going to test fire and going to make sure my laser is in focus. So I think that's just about focus. So I'll turn off the fire button. No problem, Daryl. We appreciate your support and I don't mind helping whatsoever. So I have absolute coordinates set. So I'm just going to set the origin. So I should be ready to do the first part of this. So when I start it, oh, all right. So it wanted to go somewhere else. Yeah, it wanted to go definitely somewhere else. So we do want to make sure our 0 is set. And I'm going to want to move it a little bit quicker than that. So I'm just going to move it back over my material. I'll just do a quick test fire. Should be all right. And I'm just going to do user origin. and we'll see if we're all good there. Start the file. Just gonna double check. Everything is good here. Oh, my LightBurn is a little unresponsive right now. We'll give it a second, and then we'll boot it down and reset it if we're still having those issues. Justin, I should have cable management, but because I only do LightBurn projects on this, I'm the only person who uses this machine, so I just keep an eye on it and I do that. But yes, I should run it through the drag chains, but I switch up the cables when I'm testing new cables or stuff like that, or testing new like modules and stuff so often that I just keep the cables loose. It's a little bit easier for me to be a little bit quicker with it. But I do not recommend you do what I do. In this part, do what the resources say, not what you see here for the cable management. Kenny, no problem. We'll catch you on the next one. All right, so we're a bit stun locked here on LightBurn, so I'm just gonna give it a I'm just gonna give it a reset. This almost never happens, so, you know, I don't fault. And we're gonna be doing print and cut test 1. Software update. I don't want to do a software update right now. I'd like to do the live stream. I know, let me pop this back open. It's still on G sender settings. It shouldn't be. The only EEPROM settings I changed are the ones that I need for the laser. Yeah, we should be all good. I did make sure to close LightBurn. So we have movement again. It just seemed to have crashed. We're gonna go user origin, start it back up, and we're gonna do 1 as an engraving, and it's going to be 15 by 20, and it's going to be 0, 0, and then we're going to do 1 that's a cut, and it's going to be 15 by 20, and we're going to move that to exactly on top of our engraving. So that's how we'll know if everything's working correctly. Oh, I'm actually not getting any firing. So let me check the driver. Let me make sure that I'm firing on the driver side. It doesn't seem to be firing on the driver side. So I'm actually going to check G sender to make sure because the machine did crash into the end, so it's either a laser issue where a wire got disconnected, or it is a LightBurn issue. So nope, I seem to be getting firing on G sender. So it just seems to be a LightBurn issue here. Where we were able to fire before, but now we're having a little bit of technical difficulties. So let's reopen our original file. Let's open something back up. Let's go desktop, LaserBeam Live. Let's open up the print and cut. Okay. Thank you, Dana. If I run into those issues, I will use those commands to hopefully fix this issue. Let's give it one more test. Oh yeah, we were at 0%, that's why. That's my bad, guys. Okay, so we should be all good. We have fire. We're using user origin. Just set the origin just in case. And then we should be able to run it. Nope. I believe the camera control, I think, is taking over like my zeroing here. Because I should be starting where my project's starting. But it seems to want to go to an imaginary home that I don't have set right now. So let's go to let's see what's happening here. Let's try our current position. Clear origin. We're firing, we're good. And the software does not want to start. Okay, so we're having a bit of technical difficulties here with LightBurn. That's okay. LightBurn has yet to give us any serious issues before, so I don't mind being patient with it right now. So let's quit everything. All right, let's boot it up right. Let's boot it up again. Let's open up our file. I believe the CPU is just kind of a little bit overwhelmed with the live stream and the and LightBurn. They're two pretty intensive softwares, so. Okay. So we have current position. I'm going to clear the origin. We have power to the laser. We have everything at our 0, start point. Job origin is set. And when we press start, there we go. So I'm going to stop it. So it did the engraving, and then I stopped it. So this might be your controller turning off. This might be a wire getting unplugged. This might be a power outage. This might be a software issue in the middle of your job. And you're like, oh no, how am I going to line this up? Or this might be you just moving your project. So you can see that it made the box, right? And then it started the cut, right? So it made a box and it started the cut. So if you've ever been in this situation, it is very frustrating. Usually you'd have to throw this part away or you either use a different part and this side is wasted and then you're kind of cooked, you're done, move on. But because we are testing out this feature today, we should be able to recover things perfectly on and we should be able to get things working and cut out the exact outline that we just made. So I believe the tutorial went. We have a box. We have a box that we don't want to cut out or anything, so we go to T2. And we use the selector. We select the center, and we drag from the center so that it snaps to center. And we want to select two opposite edges of our project because that will give us the best results. So I have things centered up here. I'm dragging from the center so that it snaps to the center, and it auto snaps to this corner. Okay? And I'm going to do the same thing on this edge. So box, I'm going to select the cursor, I'm dragging from the center, and I want it to snap onto this. Boom. They're both T2, so it's just a tool. It's a framing tool. It's not actually going to engrave this. And then we can go ahead and go to laser tools. And we can go to the print and cut. And we can go set the first target point. So the first target point was our start point at the bottom, right? You know it's working because it circled our point. And I'm going to go back to move. I'm going to set it to a very low percentage because I don't want to burn the wood too much. And I'm just going to move the object and try to get it right above my starting point. And then I'm going to fire the laser so that I can line up that laser to my start point. So I'm going to try to line this up. So I'm going to do a little fire. And I'm just going to kind of manually line that up. And then I'm going to go to the laser tool, print and cut, and I'm going to set second position. Okay, LightBurn is frozen. What a time, because this is the exact reason, or this is the exact scenario that would cause you to want to use this feature. Is let's say I just did a job halfway through and LightBurn freezes on me. This would be the exact reason why I would want to use the print and cut feature so that I can save the job, right? And yeah, LightBurn has frozen on me. So I'm gonna go ahead and restart. I'm gonna try it one more time before I call it a day. Hopefully I can show up this feature. Worst case, we will continue this in the next live stream. I have no problem with that. I'm just gonna shut this down. We're gonna restart this. Yeah, like, guys, thank you, Trumbull Studio. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but thank you, because I have done 27 live streams and LightBurn never does this. But this is the exact reason why this feature is is such a beautiful feature, because I'm not worried. If this was a real project, I'm not worried. Maybe I restart my computer if I wasn't streaming. I make sure that I turn off all other applications so my CPU isn't being used on other softwares and causing issues with LightBurn. Maybe I update my LightBurn software to make sure I have the most updated software to make sure if this is a bug that hopefully it got fixed in the update. But then I would continue to use this feature. I wouldn't freak out and I wouldn't be angry that, oh my God, I wasted a material, half my job ran and then I moved it, or the software started acting up. Like I would be able to continue my exact thing. And that's why I really want to show you this feature. But if we can't get it to work today, we will get it to work next time. Yeah, it doesn't want to open the project or anything. Exactly. I'm not too worried. I believe this is just like a CPU issue, or it's just a bug, and I need to update my LightBurn software. I'm definitely not in the most updated version, so I'm sure it's probably just a bug. And if you guys I know some of you guys are literally in every live stream. You know, this never happens. This is not a very specific LightBurn issue that always happens, and you always have to be worried about LightBurn crashing or freezing up on you. It really never happens. It hasn't happened to me in I think I've restarted LightBurn twice in 27 streams. So it's just one of those fluke things that happens, but kind of demonstrates the need of this tool. It's almost like, this is exactly why you would want it to kind of master this tool, because then you'll never freak out. You'll never be worried. You'll never have wasted material. You'll literally just use the print and cut tool, and then you'll be able to save the material that you were working on, whether it's 50% of a job that completed, whether you finished the engraving but you didn't do the cutting, whether you did the cutting but didn't finish the engraving, whether you could use this tool if you were doing a router job and then you came back and wanted to finish this up, and you did a router job, but then now you wanted to align your laser with software rather than doing it manually. Yeah, guys, I don't think LightBurn is gonna. Yeah, I don't think LightBurn's gonna do me any favors today. But just so I can show you, and I'm not just talking. Oh, are we back? Okay. Okay, LightBurn recovered my file. Awesome. Shouts out LightBurn. So let's go back to the printed cut. Let's do printed cut. Let's do set the first. Yep, there we go. So I already have this lined up to my first one. So I can then select set the target to number 2. Yeah, no. Guys, we're cooked right now. LightBurn is... All right, that's okay. Let's watch the LightBurn tutorial so that you guys can see how it works and actually see what the feature should look like if your LightBurn doesn't crash. And of course, I'm going to come back next live stream and we will do this feature justice because it is really cool. So we'll watch LightBurn's tutorial on it so that you guys can see the feature being used and why it's so interesting and why it's so cool. And then we will pick this up next week after I find out why my LightBurn was continuously crashing.
Everyone with a laser has had this happen.
So can you guys hear the video? I'm going to play it for a second. Oh. I think my the camera battery just died. So you guys will be getting a MacBook webcam. Oh, wrong camera. Hey guys, it is what it is. Sometimes we deal with technical difficulties. Our camera battery died. LightBurn kept crashing. Oh. Let's see if we can change the sizing here. I'm just gonna do some live fixing here. Okay, there we go. So sometimes you can't control things. Camera battery died in the middle of the stream. That's never happened before. LightBurn kept crashing. That's never happened really before in the way that it did today. So that's okay. I should be able to show you guys what this should look like. Okay, so
you run a job, everything seems fine, but when you remove it from the machine, you realize that it hasn't cut all the way through.
Yeah.
Your options now are limited. You can try to line it back up and run it again, but it's very hard to do that manually, and chances are good that it won't be quite right.
Too loud,
so today, we're going to show you how you can use the print and cut feature in LightBurn to realign the file and save the work.
Give me a 1 in the chat if you guys
Print and cut is meant to align the output from LightBurn with something that already exists, like a printed sticker, something you made on a CNC machine.
So I actually can't hear it on my end, but I see it peaking in OBS. So let me know in the chat if you guys can hear the video, and then I'll let it play, and then we'll call it a night. Okay, it's good. Thank you, Bill. I'm gonna let it play out so that you guys can watch how the feature should be used and why it's beneficial and why we'll come back to this and we'll try it out again on the next stream. But,
a dye sublimation print.
Every day can't be your day.
In our case, the project didn't have registration marks in it, so we have to find features in the design that we can use instead. Now, this file contains a number of sharp corners that will be easy to line up the laser with, so I'm going to pick 2 of those on opposite sides of the file and mark them.
Thank you,
the marks themselves just have to be an object that you can select
I'll let it play
and
out now.
Align with points in the file that you're going to use to register with. Now, we don't want these marks to be burned into the project, so I'm just going to draw them using a tool layer, here T2. The marks can be as simple as just a circle or a square, so I'm just going to draw a 10mm square to use for this file, but it could be any shape at all. Now, once it's drawn, change to selection mode by hitting escape, and grab the center drag handle so that the square will center snap to other shapes in the file as you drag it around. Now I'm going to put my first marker here on this corner, and you'll notice that as I drag the square over that corner, my cursor changes and this square snaps into position centered on that corner point. That's what you want.
To the 2 points. He's going to explain
now,
why we
it's
want
important
the 2
to
points
use points that are relatively far apart. The ideal points in this file are these over here on the opposite side of the design from the first one. If the points are too close, any misalignment between the position of the marker and the laser will be amplified as you get farther away. So you can see here, if I move this point just a little bit, the opposite side of the file moves quite a lot. If I choose a point farther away, over here on this side, moving the point a little doesn't move the file nearly as much.
Using the widget.
So I've placed the job back in the machine, and here I've done it at a fairly significant angle just to show how well this all works. So the first thing you need to do is point the laser at one of your chosen locations. Now in my case, I'm going to start with this corner here, and using the control panel on the machine or the jog buttons in LightBurn, move the laser to align it with the chosen spot on the design as accurately as you can. Once you get close, drop the jog speed down to about 1 or 2 millimeters per second so that you can dial it in even closer and fine-tune it as best you can. You'll notice that the red dot mark on my system here dims when it's directly over the existing cut line, and that can help quite a bit.
Low power test fire.
With the laser positioned at the marked corner, go to Tools, Print and Cut, and start the new Print and Cut wizard. The first option that you're given is to set the first target position. So with the laser positioned at this point on the job, select the marker and click Set First Target Position. You'll notice a couple of things have now changed. First, a circle appears around the marker location to show that LightBurn has recorded it, and the wizard page changes to show the next option, Set Second Target Position. So now we have to jog the laser to the second marker location
but
on
maybe
the
I should
design.
have actually selected the wizard tool rather than.
So I've jogged the laser close to this point at a normal jogging speed, and now I'm adjusting the control speed down to 1 millimeter per second so that I can fine-tune the location here. Again, get it lined up as accurately as you can with your chosen corner, and when you're ready to move on, flip back over to LightBurn.
I don't think I've ever sneezed on
Now, back in
camera
LightBurn,
before. That felt weird.
select the second target marker and click the Set Second Target Position button. You'll see a circle appear around the marker showing that LightBurn has recorded its position, and the wizard options change again, now showing you the two ways that you can align your output, with scaling or without. When using it to recover a job like this, you know that the scale is identical. Presumably you're sending the same file, so you choose the no scaling option. And when clicked, the wizard disappears and the target markers show 2 new circles around them showing that the print and cut feature is ready to go. You'll also see that the start from mode has changed to absolute coordinates, and this is necessary because the software has to be able to send the job to an exact place on the laser. You'll also see print and cut and unscaled next to the ready indicator here, showing you that you are in print and cut mode. If you preview the job, you'll notice that the orientation is different than the project itself, and that's because it's being aligned to match the item in the laser. But it's a quick way to verify that the print and cut feature is doing what you want. At this point, all that's left to do is run it.
It's so useful.
So you'll notice the software has sent the job exactly lined up with the existing file that I cut. Now, this was taken out of the machine, held in my hands and moved, and Print and Cut has allowed me to run the same file in exactly the same place after moving the work. have it. So hopefully you've learned something that can save you a bit of trouble in the future.
And that's about it, guys. It's such a cool feature. So just because I wasn't able to complete the job on my end doesn't mean that you guys shouldn't try it on your end. I will be back on the next live stream to play with both features, Whitespace and the print and cut with LightBurn. I'm very excited to watch it actually work. I'm going to double check things pre-stream to make sure my computer and LightBurn isn't acting up. I'm gonna make sure my LightBurn is completely updated. So hopefully, if this was a very rare bug that I've dealt with, that hopefully we don't deal with that in the future. And yeah, that is about it. That's all I'm gonna give you guys today. Technology was not on my side. It usually is. So if you're excited and you're happy about the wins that you have in life, you do have to kind of accept the losses with grace. And hopefully I've done that. I'm not too angry. I'm not too frustrated. It just is what it is. I'm less just disappointed because I was very excited to try out this feature. So yeah, big shout out to Scott, our full-time content creator, for showing me the Whitespace tool, which we will be testing in the next live stream. And thank you to Chris, our CTO, for showing me this feature, and we will check it out. And LightBurn, we love you, so don't worry. Even though today was a rough one for me, I still love using LightBurn, and I still recommend LightBurn for all my laser users out there. Whether I worked here or not, whether I developed a laser or not, I would still be using LightBurn for my own laser needs. So it is what it is. Thank you so much, Dana. Thank you so much, Bill. Trumbull Studios, I really appreciate you. All of you guys in the chat, Jack in the shop, Kenny had to go, but I appreciate him. Justin, Daryl, thanks for asking questions. I appreciate that. Laser314, thanks for your suggestions. We will definitely be playing with acceleration. Nicholas, thank you if you're still in here. Bart, thank you if you're still in here. Everybody, I appreciate you. You know the deal. Whether it's, my name is Ikenna for CNC Labs, and whether it's morning, afternoon, evening, or night, I appreciate you spending a little bit of time with me. That is all you guys get, and I will catch you in 2 weeks, Thursday, LaserBeam Live number 28. It'll be a continuation of these projects, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a good night, and I'll see you guys next time.